maximize your fun money when you're building your dream home, your custom home. I've got a couple of the greats here. Y'all know who I am, Tyler Canoles with Capstone Realty. We've got Mark Broofsky, keep on rolling, with Stillwater Realty. And we got Mike Brockman with Stillwater Builders. And
That's close enough.
That works.
Is that good?
That works. Keep
going. Perfect. So here we go. How to maximize your fun money. What is step one, Mike?
Step one is putting the right team together. There's multiple people that you should consult with when you're going into this, and it's your realtor, your lender, your builder, and then a designer, whether that's an architect or a draftsman. Putting that right team together, getting everyone together up front on the same page, so that everybody has your best interest moving forward.
Got clients all the time that say, hey, I want to build this house on this land, can we make it happen? And so there's a million questions that come up with that. And so really the first one is, well, how much is the house cost? How much does land cost? And then how are we going to pay for all of it? And so, one part of the team that Mike talked about was, your lender, your financing. If you're going to pay for the whole thing in cash, if it's $100,000 or $1 million, that's great. Cash works. But most people have to have a lender, have to have a construction loan. And so we just want to make sure that our clients have options when it comes to financing it. And so when you get a land loan or construction loan, you can roll all that together and make sure that you have that figured out up front, so we really know, what can you afford, what you want to afford, and then go from there. We can talk about the house costs and the land costs and all that kind of stuff. And so that's where Mike comes in and will help with the next step to make sure we get the house plans figured out.
Bingo. Before we move on though, how long have y'all been doing this? I just think.
So I've been in real estate, Capstone Realty, for 7-ish years, and Mike's been working through
building for 3 years.
Yeah, so Mike's been a custom home builder for 3 years. So tell us a little about how to have that fun money left over. It sounds like by taking it slow in the beginning. What does that pre-construction meeting look like? And more importantly, what does yours look differently from if they just go out and...
Right. So we are different. We do a process called pre-construction. That is agreement that we put in place, and it basically, we become an official part of that team to help you develop house plans from the beginning. And then what we do is we will be a part of those meetings to make sure that the house that you are designing aligns with your budget and your design goals. Because we don't give a price per square foot number, because one of my favorite analogies is, how much does a bag of groceries cost? It depends.
Depends on where you're going.
Where you're going, what's in the bag.
Yep.
It all of that matters. So we want to be a part of that from the beginning, so that we can make sure that the buildability and your budget lines up with your project throughout the whole thing. Our fee usually lands around $2,500 for our part in that, and at the end of that, you end up with a complete construction estimate based on materials and selections that you actually want in your home. And then we also provide you a timeline, and then if needed, a contract to move into construction, because your lender will need that for the construction loan. If you choose not to build with us, that's fine. All that information is yours.
So something that take note on when he's talking about the pre-construction meeting, it's like, oh my goodness, $2,500, that's a ton of money. But when he's detailing everything out, you're off
1%.
1%, where what is a normal?
Could be anywhere from 10 to 15 is typical.
So conservative is 10%. So you're talking about $2,500 is
pennies.
Just a drop in the bucket.
And you're talking about the overall budget from start to finish. Your average is, hey, we might be off your budget at the whole end of the game by just 1%.
Right.
Which is really, really small when you're looking at the whole project, the whole process here, in comparison to really other builders. So that $2,500 pre-construction gets you those plans, the meetings, the organization up front, so that way we're not just making stuff up along the way.
Absolutely.
Okay, so number one, to maximize your fund money, get your team around you. So really quickly rattle off who that needs to be.
That is your lender, your realtor, your builder, and your architect or designer.
Perfect. And then something else we need to touch on, land. I think it's something that you have mentioned a couple times that people don't really, that's not something that they seem to be in the front of their mind. So what does that look like?
Yeah, so we have an idea of what a custom dream home might look like, but the very next question in everyone's brains is, well, where's it going to go? Well, who owns the land? So if you already have your land, if you already got a parcel or property that you've inherited from a family member or something, that's fantastic. But most of the time, people want to go and build on land, maybe outside the city, out in the county more, and have an acre, have 10 acres, have 50 acres like we're working on now, and that's fantastic. But where the land is and where it is in relation to utilities and the road and easements, all of that affects the budget as well. And so that's why it's so important up front to say what kind of house you want to build, what size of house, and get that construction plans figured out up front, and then we can take it for the next step and say, let's start looking at land and how far you need to be from from a school, from the arsenal, from what town you're looking at, being in proximity to, because all of that will ultimately affect your budget, which really affects the question is how much fund money do you have at the end of the day. Well, we don't know until we talk about the cost of the house, and then the next step would be the land to work through that.
Bingo. We don't want to get in the weeds. That's why you need your team of people that have done this before. But the variance on land, and is it cleared? Is it not? How far back is it? Where is it located? There's so much that goes into that. Can you even put a house on it?
That's right.
That's why you need your team to know what you're looking for to accomplish your goals. So 4, y'all got puzzle pieces up there.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you got to put all the pieces of the puzzle together, and I think it's really important for Mike to say, because he's mentioned to me many times, quickly, Mike, like what goes into what might affect that land. 1 acre of land, if it's full of woods, it might be a lot more expensive than 5 acres, or vice versa in the end game here. So why, when I send you land the client's looking at, what might run up the cost really quick, even if it's listed for a lot cheaper on the MLS.
Yeah.
What might jack up the price?
Yeah, I mean, so pristine land is going to cost a lot more than land that is wooded or on a slope. Or
What's pristine
like
land?
that. Pristine land, when you're looking at construction,
Yep.
or the lowest cost of getting your
To
house
develop
there,
it, yep.
yeah, it looks like a pasture, right?
Yep.
There's no obstructions between where the utilities are and where your house is going to be,
Mm-hmm.
right? But a lot of times that land costs more money per acre.
Sure, it's a premium.
Exactly. So that would be like a pristine piece of land that you want. Now, a lot of times a lot of those are taken.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got to be able to see past, the trees and the boulders and everything like that, and figure out whether or not those costs are offsetting and what makes sense. Does it make sense to spend less money on some land that's going to require more work, or more money on land that is going to require less work? But that's part of the pre-construction process. Like if we're in pre-construction and we're at the point where you're looking for land, like I'm with you to help guide you through that and give you ballpark numbers
There you go.
on how much that's going to cost.
So we want to look at, how are you going to get back to where you want the house to go? So the cost of the driveway, the cost to run water lines and utilities, and like Mike said, if we got to take out a whole forest or a bunch of trees or move rocks or anything, that's going to cost more for that land than it would if it's a different parcel. So that's really important when you're developing it, and then putting all those pieces of that puzzle together really matters, because ultimately that is your overall budget. What does it cost to put this house designed this way with this builder on this piece of land,
And then get it financed as well.
Yeah, and then you got
Because
to put all that together, and then take that to a lender and say, here's the land, we're going to roll that into a construction loan, and you've got 12 or 18 months to close that loan, and the lender's got to approve it. So the land's got to appraise with the plans that Mike comes with, so that it all goes into there together. So a bank's gonna let you borrow the money to build your dream house, and so it's all got to come together.
30 seconds. Got to wrap this up.
Yeah. So pre-construction, take the time up front to slow down, and then we can go fast and build it well.
I think great line is, we want to get your ducks in a row, but if you've got ducks in all different kind of places, we've done it every different way. We can help you get those things lined up, so don't feel like, hey, I can't fit it exactly what you guys are talking about. That's okay. Let's just start a conversation and figure out what might work for you, because ultimately we want to get you into your dream home, and we're willing to work around those weeds to line up your ducks, because it doesn't have to be overly complicated. We do this often. We're happy to help.
We still good, Michelle?
Well, now we're asking Michelle though. How the
That's
timer's
fine.
going.
That's fine.
Because Canoles knows homes.
So to put a bow on it, get your team first early. It sounds like that makes it the easiest. If y'all have any questions, and we can go a mile deep on any of these things that we've touched, we just kind of wanted to give you a little rough overview of how to maximize your fund money on your dream home. I'm Tyler Canoles with Capstone Realty. Mark Borowski
Very
with
good.
Stillwater.
You had to write our names down.
Yeah, I
love
did.
it.
And
who's
Mike
that?
Brockman
Great job.
with Stillwater Builders. Thank y'all so much. Hashtag Canoles Knows Homes. Boom, right on the dot. Come on, guys.
You literally stopped it at 10.
That's how you do it.
So funny.
battery.
Good job, buddy.
Um,
A 10-minute video, I feel like, is very stomachable.
10
Yeah,